My parents left for a cruise for 2 weeks. During this time, like any sane person would, I invited my best friend AJ to host a get together with me at my house, since I had an open crib for the duration of their trip. We decided we wanted to keep this gathering small, as there was a possibility my neighbors would snitch on me to my parents if they saw cars lined up along the street and loud music coming from my house. We invited our close friends Ashley and Dylan. Now, to preface, we've all had our fair share of psychedelic experiences, mainly LSD for all of us. Dylan texted me the night before the Getty was set to happen. Bro, have you ever tried DATURA? No, what's that? It's a plant that makes you hallucinate crazy shit. I saw it online and recognized the plant it grows from, and coincidentally, is growing from my damn neighbor's garden. Should I bring some? Sure, dude. I'm not sure if I'll take any, but you could go ahead and bring it. I'm probably sticking to weed for the night, but slide it through. Looking back on it now, I should have researched like a responsible person should. Now knowing it's a delirium, I can't help but feel reckless looking back on this absolute mindfuck. This is a warning to everyone thinking about taking Datura. Do not do it. It is not safe. It is hell. Friday, 10:30 p.m. 5 minutes before taking Datura. AJ, Ashley, and myself were binge watching some TV show in the living room when Dylan barged through the front door announcing himself. The cavalry has arrived, Dylan yelled. Dylan arrived with two others whom I've never met. They were identical twins who stood behind Dylan. Hey! I hugged Dylan and shook the twins' hands, one of which walked straight out the door after saying hello. I turned back to Dylan to ask why he invited two strangers after we spoke about the plans days prior. Dylan was on the bed with AJ and Ashley watching Jumanji. Dumbfounded, I walked up to Dylan and asked if he took the seeds before coming in. I assumed he had since he was acting strangely, giving off weird vibes. He said no and took out the seeds and we all stared at them. They were coming out this green spiky pod. And there were these tiny little seeds. There had to be at least 50 in the bag when I saw it. Curious, I asked a few questions about it and he explained to me that we had to crush it up and make a tea out of it. I told him to go ahead and make the tea and I'd go ahead and drink some. AJ and Ashley began crying hysterically and left the house. I felt uneasy with their sudden mood change and went out to the kitchen to ask Dylan if he knew why they were so upset. Dylan had a cup in his hand and handed it over to me. I drank the cup and immediately had the urge to pee. I ran to the bathroom and stood over the toilet for a long time. AJ walked in through the door and started laughing when he saw me. He asked me why I was trying to pee inside my trash bin. I realized I mistakenly walked inside my room and started trying to pee everywhere. I asked him if he drank from the tea as well. He said yes, and we both lost our attention to the thick black smoke coming out from the neighbor's roof that we saw through the window. They must be cooking something, AJ said. A loud groan came from the living room, and we made our way out there. Dylan stood in the middle of the living room with his mouth wide open. His face looked as if he laid in the sun for a week straight, completely red. Oddly, looking back on this, everything felt completely normal at the time. I asked Dylan if he knew when I might start to feel the trip coming on. He said nothing, standing there as a statue. I realized I was talking to a red mug in the kitchen. I backed up feeling disoriented and started to cough due to my extremely dry throat. Fuck, I'm thirsty, I thought. I turned on the faucet and drank from the stream of water. A loud thud, as if someone kicked the front door, startled me, and I ran to the door and peeped out through the peephole. An obese man stood there, nude, with boils all over his pink skin. It looked as if you could see all of his veins throughout his entire body. My vision felt 8K, seeing the veins pumping blood throughout his body. He started yelling viciously, throwing his head into the wall beside the front door. I looked down to my chest, feeling an itch, and saw a cockroach on my shirt. I screamed and threw off my shirt and ran out the back door trying to find Raid spray in the shed. I grabbed a bottle of Raid under the shelf and went back inside my house to find the roach to no avail. I went back to the peephole to see if the man was still standing there, but he was gone. To my surprise, I realized it was morning. The sun was pretty high up, and I had cuts all over my hands. I decided to round up my friends and tell them goodbye, as I had work that day coming up. I went to my room and found them all watching TV. A large print of my face covered the wall, glitching and flickering. I asked my friends if they were headed home now, and they told me I was ruining the atmosphere. In a way, I felt I may have been ruining the moment they were having and felt pretty bad. I went to go smoke a cigarette in the backyard, even though I usually don't do that. It was nighttime when I went to the backyard and wondered how long I'd been inside talking to them. I ran back inside to ask them what time it was. They were all asleep on the bed with the TV playing. I felt annoyed they left the TV on and promptly turned it off. I got into bed with them and felt my body shrink. I opened my eyes and felt the worst pain ever in my neck. I was sleeping with my neck crooked on my couch. I looked around and realized my living room was absolutely trashed. Damn it. Why do we invite so many people? I thought. I spent the next 15 minutes searching my house for my phone, which ended up being inside the fridge. I saw 100+ missed calls from AJ. I called AJ and he explained what happened. AJ, Dylan, and Ashley, and myself were all at my house 2 nights ago. Dylan suggested we try out the DATURA seeds we had, and we all declined. He kept pushing, explaining how we'll have a crazy ass night, and just one time. We all ended up agreeing and taking it in the form of tea. I was the first one to start talking to an object, and ended up running in and out of rooms trying to find a peanut butter jar. Ashley and Dylan were both jumping around the living room, and AJ tried to calm them down until we had an adventure running around the backyard chasing gnomes. Throughout the next few weeks, I would mistake objects for people, not so much speaking to them, but more so acknowledging they're there and their presence is there, smiling at mailboxes and things like that. I feel like the night could have ended up way worse than it did. I'm thankful that me and my friends survived the night, but knowing how subjective everything really is, and how real the hallucinations felt, we're all just lucky.